Good afternoon. My name is Amber Almond, and this is my presentation on empirical evidence-based programs. What are empirical evidence-based programs? Empirical evidence-based programs are rapidly growing bodies of research in the social and behavioral sciences that demonstrate a certain approach and/or strategies for working with youth and their families in a positive manner, impacting social problems such as family violence, substance abuse, social problems, and delinquency. Many of these effective strategies have been packaged into programs targeting outcomes specific to individuals, schools, families, and communities. These programs that are found to be effective based on results are considered evidence-based. The four programs that I have chose to do for my project is 1. Sisters of Nia, 2. Reducing harm to boys of color, real men, brothers of Uhuma, 3. Rites of Passage program, 4 is drug prevention programs. There were a lot of them, but I chose the Strong African American Families program. Okay, so here is a picture of Sisters of Nia. The Sisters of Nia is a cultural enrichment program to empower African American girls. Nia means purpose and or goal. I chose this program because as a woman we deal with a lot, but even more as an African American woman. As an African American woman, it can be very difficult to take on the world because we're told that we can't do things because we are a woman. We have to look certain ways to be noticed and are often uncomfortable due to pressure of being accepted for who we are. This program is to help young Black girls plan their future, achieve current goals, and to transition them from elementary to middle to high school. During group sessions of this program, they discuss culture, positive role models, leadership skills, relationships, hygiene, health, education, and identity. This program helps young Black girls with their identity. It's good to let young girls know while they're young how beautiful they are and smart. That has to be instilled in their brain so they don't lose their self and stop from reaching future goals or current goals. This program is to also get Black girls to turn their nasty attitudes, aggressiveness, and negative gossiping, etc., he say, she say, into something positive. Often Black girls and women are all considered to be dramatic because of their attitudes and are told that's why people don't want to talk to you or be around you. Less negativity and more positivity towards yourself and to others around you. It teaches young women how to have conversations that are beneficial and not stressful. The next slide will be on Brothers of Uhuma. Uhuma is I cannot say that, Kasawi word that means collective work and responsibility. I chose this program because it is for young African American men. African American men growing up in today's world, I feel, have it hard simply because of the color of their skin. The world itself is intimidated by a smart Black man, and this program is what motivates young Black men to become something of their life. This program shows young Black men there is more to life than getting involved with the wrong crowds such as gangs, peer pressure, and drugs. This program is a counseling program used to help African American men plan and achieve their current/future goals as they transition from elementary to middle school and middle school to high school. This program is similar to Sisters of Nia program. It's just for men. A lot of times, young Black men or men, period, are looked upon as dangerous and are stereotyped to be a criminal even when they haven't done anything. It's very scary for Black men these days in the real world. They can't walk down the street without being a target or without someone thinking they're another person or just simply wearing a hoodie. This program helps to shape these men to not be afraid of the world, but to make the world a better place with their own abilities, dreams, and aspirations. Rites of Passage is a program for young children, adults of color that represents a certain event in one's life that is a positive transition. There are 4 stages: separation, liminally, transition, and incorporation. Separation is the first step. It's when people remove themselves from one group to another and or separate themselves. The second stage is this phase is the period between states during which the participating parties have left one place or state but have not joined the next. This stage is also a mix of emotions, behaviors, and expectations. Transition participants may adapt new behavior and thought patterns through knowledge of their historical struggle. Incorporation, when people have completed the rites of passage and are now ready to enter society. I chose the rites of passage program because it's very meaningful and can be used lifelong. The rites of passage is your very own walk of life. It's your personal story of how you got from maybe a low stage of your life to a high. For an example, when I first graduated from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know I didn't want to go to school, like to college. I started working, and even though it was good to make my own money, I started getting bored with working jobs that didn't make me happy. I had no drive and was very much blind to a great future until I started seeing classmates going on trips, celebrating graduations, and that's what motivated me to get back in school and get my career job. Drug prevention programs. Okay, so drug use is very high in the Black community. It's very high and common in the Black community. Drug usage is in the poor classes of the Black community. A lot of people turn to drugs when they feel they have hit rock bottom and are going through a lot of things that can often be very stressful and sometimes too much to deal with. People use drugs to take away the stress, pain, temporarily now becoming addicted and unable to get through everyday life on a regular basis. African Americans are at a greater risk than most other populations for all the encompassing deleterious consequences of both alcoholism and drug abuse. For an example, pulmonary disease, hypertension, malnutrition, liver, birth defects, and drug addicted infants. There are many drug prevention programs in the world, but the one I chose that is best for African Americans would be SAAFP. SAAFP stands for Strong African American Families Program. The SAAFP is a 7-session program designed for youth ages 10 to 14 and their families. The goal of SAAFP is to build on strengths of African American families and support parents through adolescent to teenage years with an emphasis on helping young people avoid dangerous behaviors surrounding them, such as drugs. In this program, the topics are setting goals for the future, knowing who you are, resisting temptation for sexual activities, having true morals and values, unfair situations, and peer pressure. These topics are very, very important when it comes to the Black community, just based off of what I've seen growing up. A lot of times, families aren't really aware of what goes on outside of the house. So, temptation for sex is definitely high, peer pressure is high, and unfair situations are definitely high. But I do feel it's important. That's why I chose this program, because it's not just for one individual, it's for an actual family. I feel if families go through these programs together it wouldn't be so hard because everyone would have a fair understanding as far as what kids, adolescent to teenagers go through on a daily basis. But I do feel like setting these goals with your family will you'll have a better positive future, and you'll also know who you are. If your family, constantly pushes you and is engaging in your everyday life, then the less you will fall victim to drug abuse. There will always be, I feel there will always be unfair situations in when it comes to African Americans, just because of our history and power, and just because of the color of our skin. um, People say that slavery and things is over, but if there is a strong black man or a strong black woman, I feel as though another race would be intimidated, and that's where the unfairness comes in. That's when the black card or the racial card is thrown in. Okay, and I have 3 questions. Based off of my presentation, which evidence-based program do you feel is more efficient for African Americans? I would personally say all of them, just because there are some programs that are for boys, some for girls, and they all have goals at the end of the program of what they want to complete that they can use for the rest of their lives and even pass it on to their children. My second question is, do you think completing these programs will help these individuals better by themselves or with their entire family? For this question, I would say it's better with the entire family, because if one individual goes through a whole program, they will feel better and more positive and look at life in a different perspective. But if their family doesn't know what they're going through on an everyday basis, they won't be able to talk to them or relate to them because they don't know. So it's better for an entire family to complete things like this together, especially in a black community where sometimes communication is off and parents are often unable to communicate with their children about school, personal feelings, and things like that. Question 3, do you believe statistics have increased or decreased in the African American community drug-wise after completion of programs? I would say it decreased. I wouldn't say it has decreased a lot, because this is still fairly new, and I do feel that even though some people complete these programs, they still can be set up in their ways to where they don't care. There are a lot of people who have a don't care attitude, but I will say if individuals or families are taking these programs seriously and wanting better for themselves and are able to use it for the rest of their lives, I would say these programs have decreased drug-wise. Thank you so much for watching my presentation.